When it is the now to continue your journey into the next fourth dimensional mystery school, you gather all that you have learned and remembered so far, and tuck it into your high heart. Within your high heart, which is between your heart chakra and your throat chakra, all the information that you have gathered on your fourth dimensional journey so far will blend with the wisdom, power, and love of your threefold flame. In fact, it is the now for you to resume your journey by entering the mental subplane of the fourth dimensional astral world. You will experience this journey through your own aura, as well as through Gaia's aura. As you travel into the fourth dimensional mental subplane, take note of the myriad thoughts that you have stored within your consciousness. You may not have considered the power of your thoughts, but as each random thought pulls up a matching emotion from the emotional subplane, your mind becomes focused on the thought forms that you have created. When your consciousness is primarily focused on your physical reality, your consciousness, and thus your perceptions, are primarily driven by the myriad versions of reality that are created by the collective of humanity. Conversely, as you travel through your own aura, you see your personal contribution to those collective thought forms that are increasingly becoming a reality. Do you, as just one person, have much influence on the outer world that is shared with all life on Gaia? Instantly, you see how your doubtful thoughts seem to escape from your mind. Do you really want that doubt to sit in your aura to invite more doubt? No, no, you say to yourself. I see how my doubtful thoughts are instantly joined with fearful emotions to send a dull gray into my aura. But, how can I change a thought form that I have already created? Congratulations, dear one, your thought form has not yet left your aura, and already you are aware of its effect on you and on the reality that you will perceive and create. You are remembering that your state of consciousness directs your thoughts. Those thoughts then direct the emotions that you collected in your aura. Finally, your thoughts and emotions join as a thought form that sits in your aura awaiting its now to direct your attention to that perception. Before you took this journey into your own fourth dimensional self, you may not have had a working example of how you are creating your reality. When you are in the fourth dimensional mental mystery school, you will focus on remembering what you think about, you bring about. Also, as you make your journey through this mental subplane, you can actually perceive your thoughts. However, your consciousness will need to resonate to at least fourth dimensional alpha waves for you to be able to clearly perceive and understand how your thoughts join with your emotions to become the thought forms that create your 3D life. You may also observe that your third dimensional beta wave consciousness is very reactionary. You, our dear ones who have taken an earth vessel, have been trained by your outer world, that first and foremost you must tend to your myriad physical duties and responsibilities. Then, if you have time, you can tend to other, less important endeavors, such as enjoying your life and being creative. Fortunately, you, our volunteers to assist with planetary ascension, are remembering that there is another version of yourself that perceives your reality from a very different frequency. Through listening to your fourth and higher dimensional dreams, imagination, and inner callings, you are discovering how to differentiate between the thoughts that arise from within your inner self and the thoughts that are fed to you via your third dimensional reality. Because you have studied in the 4D emotional mystery school, you have learned that emotions are not just feelings. You have discovered that your emotions are a vital component of all third-dimensional and interdimensional communications. Emotions are also very helpful for interspecies and intergalactic communications because they are not bound by language. In fact, emotions allow you to read thoughts. How do you read thoughts with your emotions? Emotions send you a simple yes, continue this communication, or no, I do not want to engage in this communication. In other words, emotional communication tells you if you trust or mistrust that person. As you move through the myriad changes that are occurring in your present 3D reality, you will find that this "who do you trust" information is vital. If the answer is yes, I do trust that person and or information, you can move into the next phase of sharing thoughts and or sharing thought forms with that person and or interdimensional being. In other words, you will begin to remember how your galactic family communicates via light language. Light language is the language of thought forms and energy packages. Light language arises from fifth-dimensional and beyond beings, but remains intact as it travels through the fourth dimension and into the perception of the ones who are still wearing third-dimensional vessels. Light language is not produced with your physical speech mechanisms. Therefore, it is not limited to different words that different cultures use for the same message. Light language does not travel through physical space and does not need an amplifier, telephone, or internet to be sent to another person. Light language originates via the unity consciousness of the fifth dimension, but it is able to stay totally intact within the fourth dimension. In fact, one of the primary reasons we are taking you on this journey through the fourth dimension is because it is important that your personal and Gaia's planetary astral plane, aura, is clear. When your personal aura is clear, you can more easily receive interdimensional messages. You will also feel more confident that your personal thoughts, emotions, and/or desires do not become distorted. With this added confidence, you will be able to more clearly receive interdimensional messages from the many higher dimensional beings who are now assisting you with your personal and planetary ascension. Many of you, dear ones, meet with us often in your fourth dimensional dream consciousness, but you cannot translate that meeting into your third dimensional reality because your 3D brain cannot accept, store, and repeat this frequency of information. Therefore, you forget your dreams and all the vital communications that you receive while in your fourth dimensional astral body. Fortunately, as you remember how to communicate with your own aura astral body, you will be able to communicate with others' aura astral body. Once you have learned/remembered how to communicate via thought forms and energy fields, you will be able to consciously communicate with fourth and fifth dimensional beings. Of course, everything must expand from within your core. Thus, you must first learn/remember how to consciously communicate with your human fourth dimensional self. Then, communication with the fifth dimensional expression of your multidimensional self will greatly accelerate. Eventually, you will communicate with your multidimensional self via higher frequencies of sounds that your third/fourth dimensional self cannot perceive. Your own higher self will teach you how to hear and attend to sounds that are often unperceivable to your physical hearing. Many of you have already begun your interdimensional communications. Therefore, your consciousness is already traveling into your own fourth dimensional aura to better communicate with your own fourth dimensional self. When your 3D language easily interfaces with your 4D language, you will have created an interdimensional communication system. Once this interdimensional communication system is fully connected to your fifth dimensional self, you will move into the now of the One. In other words, your communication will break through the time barrier. Once you are no longer bound by the limitations of time, you are free of the limitations of space. Within the now, all life is one, within the ever-present here. Within that now, all third-dimensional illusions of separation dissolve into a reality of unity, truth, and instant communication. You will not need to wait for a certain time to receive interdimensional messages. However, you must be within an expanded state of consciousness to receive these messages. Once in that state of consciousness, you must let go of your lower dimensional limitations and perceptions. However, if you wish to document your communications, which we highly recommend, you will need to also be aware of your physical world so that you can write, type, and/or record the information that you are receiving. We say to each and every one of you that you are all able to experience interdimensional communication. In fact, your brains are wired for that ability. However, that skill, along with your myriad other interdimensional abilities, are hidden in areas of the 97% of your physical brain that lies dormant and unused by many of our dear ground crew. The Dark Ones, who have been your keepers for more millennia than you would wish to know, have kept their minions in survival mode so that there was no energy left for consciousness expansion. However, the higher light is entering your world so quickly and so intensely that you can no longer ignore your inner call to remember. Many humans could not hear that call as it traveled via a state of consciousness that they seldom experienced. They worked and slept, then woke again to work and sleep. The advanced technology that has been on your planet for many of your years, but was hidden by the Dark Ones, will be released as soon as there is a collective interdimensional call that represents a majority of humanity. Earth is a free will planet. We Galactics honor Gaia's choice, and will not communicate with or alter the reality of those who have not asked us. On the other hand, cosmic laws do not bind the lost ones. They are the laggards that have failed to ascend on many worlds and realities and have come to Earth to invade and take. They are devoid of love and conscience. Therefore, they cannot ascend. But because Earth is a free will planet, their service to self-orientation allows them to take from and dominate others. When you meet these lost ones, please remember that even though they appear to have power in your physical world, it is limited to only the third dimension. We further ask you to remember that your world is ready now to continue with the process of transmutation into a higher frequency of reality. It is the fears of humanity that is slowing this process. But, if you become angry or impatient with those who live in fear, you will only add to that problem. Instead, we ask that you send unconditional love and violet fire to any and everyone lost in the grips of fear. The ones who serve the darkness know about your potential power. Hence, they are stepping up their fear tactics. Fortunately, you are becoming masters of the fourth dimension, and most of these lost ones can only adhere to the 4D lower astral plane. There are some who can enter the 4D emotional plane and others who can briefly visit the lowest frequencies of the 4D mental plane. Therefore, perceive yourself as guardians of Gaia's fourth dimensional astral plane, as well as your own fourth dimensional aura. Since many of you can now perceive and read thought forms, you can feel if an interdimensional message is based on unconditional love and violet fire. If you do not feel the calm euphoria of unconditional love, as well as the transmutational power of the violet fire, you know that you are called to duty to heal and transmute this thought form. Your own lower astral body is cleared, your own emotions are centered, and as you see the glorious mental mystery school shining just above you in frequency, you turn to face lost ones to send them unconditional love and violet fire. As you do so, you realize that many of the lost ones also wish to better themselves, but have been bound by a culture based on power over others. From your many earthly incarnations, you are very familiar with the feel of power over others. Hence, before you continue, look inside. Are there any components of your own self that wish to have power over others? Please look deeply, as you will not be able to enter this mystery school until you have made this personal assessment. Now, look inside yourself again to see if there is any prejudice towards any gender, species or galactic beings. You will make this determination by sending unconditional love. If you cannot send any being unconditional love, then you still have a prejudice that will halt your journey into this next mystery school. As difficult as it is to master your emotions, it can be even more difficult to master your thoughts. In this case, it is helpful to return to the concept that creation and perception are one, in the fifth dimension and beyond. This experience in the mental subplane of your aura is a precursor of what your physical life will soon become. You will be asked to perceive your reality through an energy field that can only be created with the emotional intention of unconditional love and the mental focus of transmutation of all life via the violet fire. We leave you now with that assignment. Before closing, please notice the golden stairway leading to the fourth dimensional mental mystery school. Fill your inner perceptions with that vision. Fill your heart with the unconditional love beaming from the mystery school. Fill your mind with the intention of personal and planetary ascension. As you follow our directive, you feel yourself floating up the stairway and toward the open doors. The priests and priestesses float down to greet you and to personally lead you through the open door of your own mind. In closing, we remind you to always keep your mind open because the best antidote to fear of change is an open mind. Blessings. We shall return to take you through the fourth dimensional causal subplane.